A man is sleeping. Suddenly the bed folds over and over again. He's directly hidden. The dog is in a hurry to find his master. Jimmy lifted his hammer and hit the disc. But he found that the small hammer wouldn't budge. So he got a sledgehammer. And the hammer went up to the ceiling. The hammer flew up to the ceiling. Jimmy was confused. Then he took up welding. It didn't work. Jimmy was so happy. He thought it was an alien object. He hit the dustbin without looking. He rolled right down the stairs. And it started a chain reaction. All the bins started rolling down the stairs. That's when the mother pushed the little girl out the door. Then she went back inside to get her things. And that's when the rubbish army arrived. 3 flying knives and a bottle. Almost killed the baby. The baby looked on in disbelief. But Jimmy pushed her inside. Then he turned back to pick up her little toy. And suddenly he got caught in a rubbish bin. Unluckily, he fell out of the window. The man fell 10 floors down. Luckily, he jumped in the air. He jumped onto the antenna of the rock band, but the antenna couldn't bear his weight, fell again, and broke the TV. Jimmy was instantly thrown into the bedroom downstairs. He was about to leave when the dog caught up with him. He struggled to get away from the dog. Finally, he made it downstairs. He met Annie coming back from the shops. Before he could say a word, suddenly, he was drowning in rubbish. Annie was shocked. Suddenly, Jimmy crawled out and told Annie that he'd found a part of a flying saucer. Annie was curious. So the two of them went back to the site to look again. But they dug over 100 holes and found nothing. Finally, Jimmy went back to the factory. In front of his boss, Will, he showed off a picture of his girlfriend, Annie. And that got him in trouble. He didn't realize that Annie was Will's ex-girlfriend. Annie was a former girlfriend of Will's. To get away from the violent Will, the men were locked in a refrigerator. Just as they were about to be crushed. Luckily, Jimmy opened the back door with the expertise of a repairman. He managed to save their lives. He took a shortcut back to protect Annie. But before he could escape, soon after, Will broke into the house. He threatened them again to get into the fridge. Jimmy saw the opportunity to fight Will. He accidentally knocked Annie's fridge into the stairway. And at that very moment, the dog stepped in and pulled on the wire. Jimmy grabbed the wire and wrapped it around his body. Then he shoved the egg beater down Will's trousers. Then he gagged him with an egg. And then he punched him in the face. Will was bounced right out the door by the ironing board. He fell down the stairs. He was a pile of mush. And Jimmy managed to save Annie. And Jimmy and Annie lived happily ever after. They lived happily ever after. And the disc found its home.